You're joining me on quite an exciting day. We're heading to check out my accommodation at my first ever formal hospital placement as a medical student. I'm around half an hour out of Cambridge, and it's a local district general hospital. With placement starting on Monday, a lot of the people who are at this district general hospital will be heading over there this weekend. My plan is to go slightly ahead to try and get a nicer room out of all the rooms that are available. I'm also quite busy tomorrow, and once I get there, I need to not only get a Wi-Fi dongle, I need to get a parking permit, and I need to go and check out my room and move in a few things there. Now, since this placement is quite close, only half an hour outside of Cambridge, my plan is to stay there for most of the week and then come back to my Cambridge room in the centre of town during weekends. Now, depending on the quality of the room and the quality of the accommodation there, I'm also considering possibly commuting. I know some students have done that in the past, and for me it's really important that I've got a comfortable environment to study in. And so today will also serve as being a very useful opportunity for me to go and check out what the journey is like, to see if commuting is even possible. And so depending on what the accommodation looks like there, I might actually end up doing that. Let me quickly explain to you how placements work. If this is the UK, Cambridge is around here. Now, zooming in a bit, there are quite a few different hospitals around Cambridge. And so the way medicine works and the way the medical course works is that you're based at the central hospital for a few weeks at a time, so 4 weeks at a time. Then you also spend 4 weeks at one of the outside hospitals called regional hospitals. And these are also teaching hospitals. And so the way my schedule works is that I start off at a regional hospital, then come back into the centre, then come back out to the regional hospital, and then go back into the centre. Now, meanwhile, whilst switching between the centre and the outside regional hospitals, you also have GP placements. And this is sort of all over the place. For some students, it's as far as up north to down south, but usually they're within 50 miles. And that's why as a medical student it's really useful to have a car, because then you can zip out to the regional placements. But for those students who don't have a car, you can always get a lift with a friend or just use public transport, and the medical school will reimburse you the costs. Anyway, before I leave, I need to do some admin work, reviewing a personal statement, and then after that, I need to just pack up a few of my clinical school clothes. Now, as a gentleman, this involves me wearing some shirts, some chinos, unfortunately no ties, and no watches either, because you've got to roll up your sleeves, and I guess also a few pairs of shoes. Now, we were also meant to receive some clogs, which are kind of like Croc shoes or Birkenstocks for a theatre environment, but we haven't yet been given those, despite having paid for those, because I've got a surgical placement at this hospital I'm going to be at for the next 4 weeks, and in the worst scenario, I'll just order another pair off Amazon. Anyway, let's do this admin work quickly, let's pack our clothes and we'll go for a quick zip to this hospital. And yeah, I'm pretty excited. It's in the countryside, so I'll have lots of time to cycle, and also have the flexibility of coming back to Cambridge if I wish to. Right, work's been done. Let's quickly grab the clothes I need to go to placement. Right, for those of you wondering why my shirts and trousers don't look ironed, half of them are ironed, half of them are not. They're giving us an iron board and an iron at placement, so I'm going to use that. Just give you a rough outline of what I'm going to wear on placement. Generally, I like my shirts from Hackett, Ralph Lauren, or T.M. Lewin. Pretty solid shirts, and I've got 5 of these. Very neutral colours in pink and white, so not really offensive to anybody, and also quite professional. Now, it's really important, they're all cotton, and so they're very breathable. When you're wearing them for a long period of time, it's fine. However, it is important to remember that sometimes you do wear scrubs as well, so you won't always be in these. So that's the shirts. And in terms of trousers, I've got some chinos. So I've got 2 major ones, this light khaki colour alongside this navy or dark navy colour. And these are both from Hackett. And I've got a pair of Ted Baker chinos as well, very, very good quality. I like the Ted Baker ones a bit more than the Hackett ones because they're slightly stretch, and I've got slightly big thighs, which means the stretch material works really well for me. That's this. I'm going to put this in a box quickly, and then we're going to get a few socks ready. And don't want to forget the belts as well. One more, and some socks. Socks are very important. In this suitcase that the camera is sitting on, I've got my duvets. Unfortunately, at placement, they don't provide us with duvets. They only give us sheets and blankets. So I've got a duvet in there, which should help out. Also, I've got some shoes. These are some oxblood colour leather shoes from Dune. Pretty good, and I'm sure they'll be hard wearing. And then I've got a second pair in a slightly different colour, a sort of cognac-y brown colour. By having a few shoes and by having a variety of shirts and trousers to wear, then I can make sure every day I'm wearing something clean, as well washed, that isn't going to offend any patients or any other members of staff. So professionality is a key part of medicine. Now that I've got the majority of my clothes packed, I'm going to run to the Porter's Lodge and collect a few Amazon parcels. And then after that, we need to run to the cash and carry to pick up a few cases of water and some breakfast biscuits. And in case I don't have time for breakfast in the morning, I can just have a biscuit bar on the way to the wards. Let's quickly go to the Porter's Lodge. Got my parcels. Let's see what Amazon has dropped off today. I've opened this one already. It's what they call a fob watch, which is used by medical staff to time things. I need to set the time, but this is what it is. So this kind of hangs down from your lanyard, and you can just pick it up and peep at what the time is, and that's really useful when you're taking the heart rate of someone or trying to get the respiratory rate of someone. As always, too much packaging, Amazon. And this is a gizmo that hopefully I'm going to use to record in the car. Could have done with more of these, I think. Anyway, so this is like a suction cup that you use to mount a camera onto the windscreen. And the reason I purchased this was because I have a proper GoPro suction mount. That's a bit too big. And so when I use my camera that I'm using to film on now, the GoPro mount is just a bit too finicky. So slot that in there, and then I can just screw this into the bottom of my camera. Actually no, it'll be this one, that's too small. Ow. There you go. And then you can tighten it and make it all stiff. So hopefully I'll use that on the way to on the way out, and we'll see how well it works. This is smooth, let's try it out. So push down. Oh, that's a pretty fun grip, right? That's gonna work. I don't really have any other use for these, so yeah, I'll keep them anyway in a bag, and I'm sure they'll be in a bin somewhere sooner than later. Anyway, we're running out of time, and we need to get to the cash and carry before they close at 3, and then we'll just blast it straight towards placement. Good, let's go. Gosh, when it comes to driving, don't get me started on people who don't signal where they want to go. It's so confusing as a driver. Anyway, now we're on the move. Let me talk about why we're quickly heading to the cash and carry before we go out and drop my things off. So in a hospital, as you all know, there are hardly any supermarkets, and the only corner shop they have in there will be completely overpriced. It's completely illogical to go and pay £3 for something that should cost 60 pence or £1. And so I'm going to go to Booker's, the only arguably cash and carry in Cambridge, which is a bit of a bummer, and we're going to pick up a few cases of water, and that should hopefully ensure that I'm fully hydrated throughout my whole placements. And you know, if you're not hydrated, then you're not going to be thinking properly. It's one of the key things that I always focused on when I was revising, making sure I consumed enough water. Okay, let's quickly head over there. It's only about a 5-6 minute drive. Right, we're here, let's go. let me give you a quick rundown on what I purchased. I got a few cases of water. The water I like is San Pellegrino. It's just a very mild sparkling water. And having been brought up in Germany, you know, sparkling water is life practically over there. Or Sprudelwasser, as they call it there. I've also got some still water. I've got one type that I loaded from my room, Saka. It's very easy to drink, still water. And I've got some Aqua Panna water that I just purchased now. Both really good types of water. And just, yeah, you need to stay hydrated, especially in this sort of hot weather. So water is key, and don't try and save money there. I also purchased a case of San Pellegrino Aranciata Rossa, as they might say. And that, my Italian accent is probably terrible, but that's just a really nice soft drink that I'll have. Again, once I'm in the hospital, I'm sure I'm going to be tired. And so if I just have a can of me every single day, and it'll just be a nice pick-me-up after a hard day on the wards. Usually when you're tired, you just tend to grab some junk food. I don't know, order a kebab or go to McDonald's. So by having, you know, pre-planned this and by having things in place, which I will treat myself to after a days of hard work, then I'm just making better decisions. Just a few cans of, or small cans of Pringles, and you might question me, you know, saying, Sen, it's a waste of money buying the small ones, why didn't you buy the big ones? Again, it's portion control, and having small cans means that I will eat Pringles, but on a sort of small scale, which will be, you know, enough to pick me up, which will be enough to, you know, put a smile on my face, but then again, won't be enough for me to just keep eating it for an hour non-stop and, you know, get fat that way. So yeah, small things just to pick me up during the day. Oh, I also bought some, like, brioche buns, and I'm not the biggest fan of those because they're quite fatty, they're quite sugary, but as I mentioned, a few bags of those will mean that on days where I'm quite busy or don't have time to eat a big breakfast, I can just pop one of those or two of those in my mouth and head over to the hospital. It's all about thinking ahead and all about mitigating in advance the opportunity to, you know, eat lots of junk food. So meal prepping is another form of, you know, just cooking in advance and microwaving that. I'm not really too sure about the food safety aspect of it all. Like, how long can you keep refrigerated chicken for? So if I cook on a Sunday evening, is it going to be alright? There's a cyclist here, popped up out of nowhere. Gotta be careful, he's not even wearing a helmet. But in terms of, meal prepping, if I, for example, make chicken pasta, how do I know the chicken won't go off within 4 or 5 days? The last thing I want is to get food poisoning whilst in the middle of rotations. Anyway, right, so I'm heading off towards the District General Hospital right now, and the sat nav on my phone says, if you're using Waze, shout out for the Waze gang. That's a nice Porsche. Anyway, so yeah, shout out if you use Waze. 29 minutes left for a 21-mile journey. So I think I need to head on to the A14 in a small while. Anyway, I'll speak to you guys in a bit when I'm closer there and we can go and explore the hospital campus. Low on fuel, so quickly come to the petrol station. Right, so car's parked, heading to the main entrance quickly to pick up my room keys. Thank you. What's in here? Is it the room key, and does it have my lanyard in it, or? Guys, just arrived. Let's check this place out. So here we are. Let's take a quick look around. Our room over there, wonderful day over there. Bedroom 1, bedroom 2, bedroom 3, bedroom 4, and a kitchen. To be fair, this isn't too bad at all. That does look a bit outdated. And come on, is this like from the 1500s or something? Fridge space. That is grim. Okay. As I was hoping for a nicer fridge. Yep, empty cupboard. Storage. Yep, cleanest cupboard. Okay, so this is very, very basic. Let's check out my room. Nice wardrobe, fairly spacious. Nicer than the wardrobe in my room at college. Sink, right, that's an A4 piece of paper. That's how big this desk is. As my laptop will just take up all of this space. There's not enough space here. Okay, at least have some drawers. And what's the view like? Yep. Anyway, let's start unloading stuff and let's see how it goes. Right, all unloaded. Let's lock my room. Got the keys. And we'll head back to town. All offloaded, now going to head back into town and we'll see how long it takes. And depending on this time, we'll work out whether we're going to predominantly stay here, around 20 miles out of town, or whether we'll sort of travel a few times back and forth from Cambridge during my placement. Really happy once again that it is so close. If it was further away, then that would be more of an issue. Sweating like a pig right now. Let's put the aircon on and let's start driving.